Okay, yes.
Okay, so we start with Amazon S3. So we have on Amazon S3 where there are different kind of storage options we have. So like we have Amazon S3, then we have Amazon Glacier, then we have Amazon EFS, that is Elastic File System, then we have Amazon Snowball, and then we have Amazon EBS. All these are storage based options that we get in Amazon Web Services. So
Okay.
Amazon Simple Storage Service is an object-based service. So Amazon S3 is an object-based storage system. You cannot use this Amazon S3 to boot your EC2 machine. It's an object-based storage system. You can keep your files upload. You can upload your files any kind of file in txt dot json, anything, any kind of object you can put on S3. So with S3 you can host website. So do you know what is the difference between static host website and dynamic host website?
Yes, yeah. Static website, it's just that the static content, whereas database, dynamic, it connects to database and gets
Yeah,
information from
it includes some
database.
processing of business logic and some
Yeah.
interaction with the
Okay.
user. Whereas
Okay.
static
It's
is
got like
a,
some backend.
yeah.
Yeah.
So Amazon S3 allows you to host your static website for free. You can host your static website. You can upload just your content, all the JSON files and the HTML files, CSS files, and it will help you to host a static website for free. Then it also let you to enable for mobile application. You can use this S3 for backup and restore. You can archive your data and put on S3. Enterprise application, IoT devices, and big data analytics. You can perform. You can put your data and then use it for further processing. So for IoT based
Mm-hmm.
application, so what happens in IoT based application, the client or the device from where the IoT application is stored, it continuously sensor data, right? So you can use the Amazon S3 to store all this data. For example, in Uber Ola, what it does, they basically track all your location, your geo based location. It tracks all your location, so you can save all those data to Amazon S3. Then the
Okay.
most important part that you need to remember, not for the exam point of view, but for the general purpose, that Amazon S3 is designed for 99.99, that is 11s of durability. This count is very important to remember. It is not
Oh,
not any kind of question is asked in the exam, but you need to remember. Okay.
okay, okay.
Then what are the use cases of S3? So first, backup and restore. You can use this Amazon S3 to backup your snapshot or any your data and for restoring them. So it helps you to, so it's like our SkyDrive or OpenDrive. You can once you have uploaded to S3, you can access it from anywhere. Your voice is
Okay.
very cracking. The background noise is too high.
Okay, okay. I'll put myself on mute and see if it improves. Because even your voice is very feeble. I'll put myself on mute and we'll see if that
Sure,
give
sure,
any better.
sure. Second, disaster recovery. So you can put your critical data from the EC2 machine and encrypt the data and allow the deletion policy. So this feature helps you to, from accidental deletion. The object that you upload will not be deleted easily, and you can store your data securely. You can encrypt your data, and you can also protect it from key management services. So it helps you from the disaster recovery. Then archive, retrieve physical infrastructure and archive data with Amazon S3 Glacier. So for example, you have certain amount of data which you don't require frequently. So but that data is very important. So what you can do, you can archive that data into Amazon S3 Glacier. S3 Glacier will give you very cost optimized solution. It charges on an average around 4 cents for 1 GB. So it's very good and cheapest archival storage available on the cloud. Then data lakes and big data analytics. For this kind of application, big data analytics, you can put your data onto SC, and then you can fire queries from the analytics or big data type of AWS services. So it will directly ping to your SC bucket and grab the data. Then you can extract the valuable insights, queries. You can pass the queries. So what is Amazon S3 bucket? So basically, in EBS volume or in any storage volume, like in our hard disk or internal hard disk. So what we used to do usually, we put our data directly. We don't need to create any folder, or we don't need to create any file to insert our data. But on Amazon S3, whenever you want to upload your data, you need to must create a S3 bucket. Without S3 bucket, you cannot upload your data directly. So the conditions are: a bucket is a container for objects stored in Amazon S3. So it's a container to store your objects. Without this container, you cannot upload your data to Amazon S3. Buckets are region specific. So whenever you log into your S3 console, you don't need to first choose the AWS region. Basically, it's a global region. But whenever you create a file, whenever you create a bucket, at the time it asks you to specify the region, in which region you have to create a bucket. So buckets are always region specific. Bucket name must be globally unique. So globally unique, which means that it should be unique across all the AWS account. So if I am using a name of my bucket, let's say Lalit Bucket, then you cannot use the same name. So bucket name should be globally unique across different AWS account. Then the limited range of AWS bucket per account is 100 buckets. If you still want more, you can raise a support ticket and ask the AWS customer and ask the support people to raise your limit. Then it gives you unlimited storage. You can upload in amount of data, but the condition is a file size can be from 0 KB to 5 TB. That is, a single file size can be range from 0 KB to 5 TB, but you have unlimited storage, which means you can upload 5 TB of data and number of files. You have unlimited storage, but a single file cannot be extended to more than 5 TB. Okay, so this is a basic. This is very important to remember the file size from 0 KB to 5 TB.
Okay. So when you say buckets are region specific, that means that file, whatever is in that bucket, it can be only accessed from one particular region.
No, you can access to that particular bucket from any region. But when you create a bucket, it asks you to choose a specific region. Basically, what happens, as we have just discussed in the previous slide, it gives a durability of 99.119%, right? So what at the Amazon backend do? It replicate your data. It make a copy of your data and keep it stored. So if any case any availability goes down, any region goes down, then the second backup copy will serve your request. So it gives a backup, but it doesn't tells you where the backup is stored.
Okay. So buckets are region. So, but then the object can be accessed from anywhere. But when you say region specific, it is like saying like it is duplicated many times in that region only.
No, actually. So basically, whenever you create a VPC, VPCs are also region specific, right? So what at that time you do? You go to a particular region and then you create a VPC, right?
Yes.
Yeah. In the same way, whenever you create a S3 bucket, it asks you in which region you want to create a bucket. That's it.
Oh, okay. All right, okay.
Yeah, we'll see in the practical in more detail. It's difficult to from here to imagine, but when we go to our practical session, at that time it will be easy to understand what is region specific.
Okay.
Then there are different types of storage classes. First is S3 standard. So it's a default storage class. Whenever you create a S3 bucket, the default storage class is S3 standard only. It provides you low latency and high throughput performance. The durability of S3 standard is 99.119% and the availability is 99.99%. So basically these are the count that you need to just remember for when you interact with client, and if they ask you what is the durability and what is the availability, if I am moving my on-premise data to S3 cloud, at the time you can define that the AWS provides this number of durability and availability, so your data is 100% secure and always be available. It's not important from exam point of view, but you need to remember this. Then it supports SSL encryption of data in transit and at rest. Lifecycle management for automatic migration of object. So here the term lifecycle management. A lifecycle management is like you are migrating your data from S3 standard to different other storage classes, and you create a life cycle. Basically, now your data is in standard, then you will after certain days you can move it to another standard class, or then you, and after n number of days, let's say after 365 days, I don't need this data, you can delete it. So you can create such kind of life cycle. We will see this in the future slides, but the common term of the life cycle management, you create the life cycle of a particular object. So let's say today a video was uploaded on my S3 bucket. I need that S3 video for the next 30 days. So for the next 30 days it will be in my S3 bucket, and I have configured in such a way that after 30 days it will be automatically deleted. So this is something like lifecycle management. Then we have another storage class called S3 standard infrequent. So the standard infrequent access and one zone IA storage class. So in the standard infrequent we have other two options, standard infrequent access and one zone IA. These are designed for long-lived and infrequently accessed data. So for example, you have certain amount of data that is very infrequently used once in a while. Then for such kind of data you can opt for the standard infrequent access. So what it features you? It features you for the cost optimized way. It charges you per GB retrieval of data. It again provides you low latency and high throughput performance. Durability is same, availability is also same, 99.9%. It is backed with the Amazon Service SSL agreement, and it also supports SSL encryption with the same lifecycle management policy. So the difference between standard and infrequent is nothing but if your data is continuously frequently accessed, then you can opt for the standard one. If your data is accessed very infrequently, then you can go with the standard infrequent. The charges, the pricing of the standard is per object, and the amount of storage you put plus the put and get option. So if I requested any video, that I have to pay for that request. So the transition that is happening, uploading and downloading of data, that also you have to pay, plus the storage. In the infrequent access, you have to pay for the storage plus the retrieval fee. So here the retrieval fee is that is the transitional fee is per GBPA. So you if GB of amount of data is retrieved, then only you will be charged. So this is the difference.
Okay. So no, in standard S3 standard, you only pay for retrieval.
For the standard one,
only pay for storage.
Yeah, for the standard one, you pay for the storage that you are consuming plus the put and get request. So put means the amount of data that you are uploading, and the get means if someone is sending a request to access that information, access that data. So this is put and get. So Amazon charges on that also.
Okay. Oh, okay. So standard, it is like for the storage as well as put and get request.
Yeah.
And this one, like here you say, infrequent charge, it charges for storage or in infrequent?
Yeah.
Infrequent?
It charges for the storage that you are consuming. Okay. Plus the
but
retrieval
it is
fee,
less than standard.
Yeah, but the retrieval fee, that is put and get, is basically on the per GB. So in standard you pay for the per object, and here you pay for the GB.
Okay. GP. All right. Okay.
Right. Then the third one is S3 reduced redundancy. It is designed for non-critical, reproducible data that can be stored with a less redundancy than the standard storage class. So it also features the same low latency and high throughput, durability, availability 99.9%, and SSL encryption. So now the reduced redundancy storage is for the non-critical and reproducible data. So the reproducible data means like thumbnails or any temporary files. So for example, whenever you upload any file on Facebook or Instagram or Amazon, any e-commerce site, that you don't exactly upload the actual image there, because whenever you upload actual image on the website, it takes a lot of time to load that website, because a single image file can range from 3 MB to 5 MB, 7 MB, 10 MB. So loading of this images will take a lot of time. So what you do, you create a thumbnail and you then store, then you those thumbnail you show on your website, which helps you to load the image faster. So thumbnail size is like a 200 KB or 100 KB just, or any reproducible data like temporary files or JSON files, configuration files. So this kind of data which is non-critical. So thumbnails are not critical data. So for such kind of storage, for such kind of objects, you can go for the S3 reduced redundancy. It allows you for the cost optimized way. But as per 2019 policy, the updates, the S3 standard and S3 reduced redundancy has no much such difference. So even if you go to AWS console and check for when you go for the reduced redundancy, it shows that it is recommended to go for the standard one, as the cost is almost same. There is no difference in the cost. So but S3 has a feature called reduced redundancy that you need to remember. Okay.
Okay. Now, cost-wise, did you say that S3 standard and S3 reduced are the same?
Yeah. Previously there was a difference, but now they are almost same. So even if you go to the AWS console and go for the reduced redundancy, it shows you message that it is recommended to go for the standard one, as there is no cost difference between them.
Okay.
Then we have Amazon S3 Glacier. The Glacier storage class is suitable for archiving data where data is accessed completely infrequent. You cannot specify Glacier as a storage class at the time that you create an object. So basically, Glacier is an archival storage. Archival means when you don't want your data or for a long time, which is completely infrequent, or you have, for example, a data called backup. So backups are very accessed very infrequently. So first, for such kind of data, you can go for the Amazon Glacier. You cannot specify Glacier as a storage class. So while uploading your data, you cannot actually specify that I want to upload it to Glacier directly. You need to always put your data into standard, and then you can create a life cycle that after 60 days, it should be moved to Glacier. You have to have into us any of these standard classes, and then you can move it to Glacier. You don't have direct option to move your data to Glacier. Then for retrieval of Glacier objects, the objects you put on the Glacier, you need to make a request to the Amazon that I want to retrieve my data. So it's not like something that you just requested for the Glacier data and you got the data. Amazon processes that request and it takes up to 3 to 5 hours to get your data. So whenever you want a Glacier objects, at least you need to first request 3 to 5 hours prior. Then the durability is 99.11%, supports SSL encryption. It gives a vault feature, which is lockable policy. Then it is extremely low cost design is available for long-term archive. So it's one of the very low cost options on Amazon Cloud. It approximately charge 4 cents for 1 GB of data. Then it has also lifecycle management. You can migrate your data from Glacier to delete the policy or kind of. Then S3 features. First, versioning. So versioning, when you enable the versioning option, you have an option to keep a multiple versions of a single file. So as you have just discussed before, you can host your S3 website. So websites are continuously upgrading. You update your websites continuously. So in such case, what you can do, you can enable versions. So for example, index.html, if today you have change your website with some sale or some kind of advertisement, and again tomorrow you have to change with the previous version, then you can do it with a single touch. So versioning, you can keep multiple versions of a single object. Then logging provides detailed logs from the requests that are made to the bucket. So what are the requests that are made to the bucket to your specific object? You can log all these requests into a login section. Website configuration, you can host a static website in Amazon S3, and this hosting is completely free. You only pay for the storage and the put and get requests. That's it. Then we have lifecycle management. Okay, so lifecycle management is something like creating a lifecycle of an object. When you upload a file, you always put into Amazon S3 standard. Okay. Now you can create a lifecycle which defines that after 30 days it should be moved to the standard infrequent access, and let's say after 60 days I don't need that data, so put into Glacier, so it will be available in your Glacier. And then let's say after 365 days, delete that data, I don't need such kind of data. So a very good example will be like a job portal. So a job portal always get a new resumes every day. So what you can do, you can so whenever a new resume is uploaded to your S3 bucket, you will keep into a very standard storage. After 30 days, as the resume gets older, so you can move it to infrequent access. So from day 1 to day 30, it is in standard. From day 30 to let's say till day 6, again 30 days more, it will be in infrequent access. And let's say after 60 days, you actually don't require this data, but for future reference, you will require this data as a backup of your object, as a backup of your all the data. So you can move it to Glacier. Then you can configure one more rule that defines that after 365 days, delete this copy also. So it will automatically move your data from standard to infrequent access, from infrequent to Glacier, and after Glacier it will delete that object. So in this way you don't need to maintain all these versions of it. It will automatically go in the life cycle wise, and it will help you to save your cost. Of course, the standard has a highest rate than infrequent than Glacier. So it will automatically move your data one by one into a different phase. So is that clear now, life cycle?
So yes, it is clear. Yes.
Okay. Then we have transfer acceleration. So transfer acceleration is a property which means that if I am in Mumbai and I have created a bucket in Mumbai, okay, and you are located in London. So for example, if I want you to upload any data to my Mumbai bucket, at that time the latency will be very high, because you have to peer with your London AWS S3, and that will be again peer to Mumbai region, and from between London to Mumbai there will be another, so different peers will be available. So the data, if the data is very big, 1 GB, 2 GB or 10 GB of data, at that time you will feel like there is very high latency, or the uploading will be very difficult for you. So what you can do for the transfer acceleration, it enables you to upload the data in the nearest location available, and it will then securely transfer to you my location. So it enables fast, easy and secure transfer of files over long distance between your client and the S3 bucket.
So it's it only for upload, this transfer acceleration, only for upload,
Yeah.
not for accessing data.
No, it's for upload only.
Okay. So if I have to upload,
You can also use
so
it
if
for the
I'm from
downloading
London.
also. You can also use it for downloading.
Okay. Okay. So transfer of files. So so if I have to upload it to Mumbai region, you're saying that I can just upload to London region and then that
No, you will directly
transfer
upload
will
to
automatically.
Mumbai region only, but I will provide you the list option, the nearest option that has from which like London region will easily transfer that data to Mumbai. You don't need to directly upload to Mumbai. It will automatically
Oh,
from the backend will
okay.
directly transfer that data to my Mumbai region. So
Okay, but
whenever you opt,
will I know like I'm uploading to Mumbai or London? Do I know or how? What does it show to me?
yeah. So whenever you opt for this, it shows that what are the latency available to a particular region. So at that time you can select a region. So for example, when I try, so as I said, if you are my client and I am letting you to upload a file, then I will choose the London region. So when I choose the London region, it will show me the what is the latency available currently at the London. So I can choose among all these options like which is the least latency available, and then you can opt for that.
Okay, right.
So
Okay.
here the customer or the service provider has to enable this. You don't have to worry about any of this when you talk about the client. So if you are a client, then you don't need to
Oh,
worry
okay.
about it. You will just upload the data on my specified bucket.
Oh, okay. So when I know that my customers are distributed across the globe, then it's a good idea to
Yes,
enable this transfer
yes,
acceleration. Okay.
right.
Yeah, okay.
Then we have a property a feature called event. So event is like a notification trigger. So for example, as I told before, we were discussing an example of any job portal. So you can create an infrastructure like that. Whenever a new resume upload to your S3 bucket, Amazon event will be triggered to Amazon Lambda for further processing. So let's say a resume is uploaded today, and as soon as that resume is uploaded, it will trigger to Lambda. Lambda will pick that file and it will process certain kind of data like creating own database of the name, username, what kind of skills the person has, and it create your own data. So for such kind of notification, or as soon as the email is uploaded, it will send an email back. Sorry, as soon as the resume is uploaded, it will send an email to me, or let's say to that person who has uploaded the file. So event triggers a notification. You can upload a notification, you can create a notification, you can trigger to a Lambda function, you can have an option to process in a SQS queuing service. So as soon as, so it's like a serverless. When you talk about the serverless part, is very important. This is very important feature. So within background
Um,
everything, yeah, everything will happen and you don't need to worry about anything.
Oh, okay. So this is a feature. This event is a feature of S3. Then,
Yes,
so when anything is uploaded to S3, you are saying that S3 can then notify Lambda function or SQS or
SNS,
email function.
right.
So it's okay.
So it basically triggers the notification as soon as you have an option you have to configure, like if any object is deleted or any object is inserted, uploaded, then you can configure such. So there are different parameters on it. So if somebody is trying to delete any
Okay.
object from the SC, at that time you can also send a notification.
Okay.
So we'll see that in the lab sessions. Then we have cross-region replication. So if you want to replicate your SC bucket from one region to another region, you have a direct option of cross-region replication. Then the very important and most important feature is request or pay. So basically in the description of SC, we have seen that SC charges for the storage plus transactional retrieval fee. that is put and get. So basically in the requester pay, the requester who is requesting this object is going to pay for the is going to pay the charge of that retrieval fee. So I have uploaded 10 videos. Okay, then the amount of storage that it will consume, that storage amount I have to pay. But this but if you are trying to request to use that video, then you have to pay for that, and then it will be delivered to you. So the requester, instead of the bucket owner, pay the cost of the requester and the data downloaded from the bucket. So whatever the amount of data you are downloading, you will pay for that.
Okay, it's the get request. There you were saying like
Yes,
get request,
absolutely.
put and get request. So if you're using the get request, then there you can set a requester pays for it.
Yes, absolutely. So for example, you have a website for like sharing photos or videos. So these photos and videos are paid. So you can just enable this option, and whenever somebody wants to download that photo, they need to first purchase it. So this kind of thing you can configure, you can create infrastructure like that. Okay, then this is the end of the S3. So let's go to the AWS console. Can you see my AWS console?
Yes, I can.
Okay, so in the storage we have S3. Let's go. So this is the S3 console. Here it shows that I am in my global region. S3 doesn't require any region selection. So you don't need to first go to a particular region and then create a bucket. So basically what you
But then when you said S3 is region specific, but
right,
when you create a bucket, you have to specify, is that?
yeah. So for example, this my bucket download data. Sorry. So it is created in US East North Virginia. The second object is created in Asia Pacific. So this console is global, but whenever you create a bucket, you have to choose a region. So what is the best advantage is here? You get a list of all the bucket that it has in your AWS account in a single place. You don't have to go on a separate region to go to choose a bucket. This is the only benefit. Then to create a bucket, simply click on create bucket, give a name. Now the name should be globally unique. So let's say and here you can specify the region in which you want to create. That is here is London, Ireland, Paris, Frankfurt, or I will go with the simply Asia Pacific, Mumbai. Copy setting from existing bucket. So if you have already configured existing bucket, if you have already configured something existing bucket is there, so you can just simply click on it and copy all the settings. We will go with the default one. Click on simply next. Okay, so here we have options called versioning, then logging, tags. We can have object level logging, encryption, then CloudWatch metric. So still we will get all these options once we have created the S3 bucket. So as of now I will keep all the things default, blank. Click on next. Now this is a public access setting. So do you want this bucket to be publicly available or not? So so basically what happens whenever we create a S3 bucket, that S3 bucket is always in a private mode. Whenever you want it to be publicly available, you have to explicitly enable that. So for example, whenever you host a website, that bucket needs to be always publicly available, so that anyone on the internet can be easily accessible to all the files. Okay, so currently if you enable these all four options, it lets your bucket to have into a private mode. Then you can still edit it once this S3 bucket is created. So I will keep all the things default, click on next and create bucket. So you can see demo lorry temp, our bucket is ready. Click on it. Okay, now here you can upload any amount of data. Just simply click on upload, add files, and let's say this file I have to upload, AWS demo. Now click on next. Now it asks you for this permission. So do you want currently the default permission is read and write to the owner of this AWS account. Now if you want to share with another AWS account, you can simply add the account ID here and give read access or read write access. So if you want to share with different AWS account, then, or the third permission is manage public permission. If you want this file to be publicly available, anyone with the link, anyone with this downloadable link can be then easily able to download that object. So if you just grant this public read access, then it will allow the user to have a read access. So we will keep everything default. The next is properties. Now here you need to choose what type of standard storage class do you want. So we have standard, then we have intelligent tiering, that is also a part of a infrequent access, long linked infrequent access, then one zone IA, standard IA, then we have glacier, but glacier we cannot use it directly. That we have reduced redundancy. So if you remember in the reduced redundancy slide, I have told you that there is no more difference between reduced redundancy and a storage class. So here is the
Yes.
It is recommended because the storage system class is more cost effective. So this is the reason.
But reduced redundancy means it's not creating redundancy in other availability zone.
Yeah.
Like it's not copying.
Yes.
Okay. But then, okay.
So here we will go
cost wise.
But cost wise, the standard one is more cheaper, you can say. So here it says that just a minute. Is the standard storage class is more cost effective, and for the infrequent access you pay for the per GB fee applicable. So the amount of GB you retrieve, you have to pay for that. Then for the intelligent tiering, you still have to pay for the per object fees. So now, as of now, we will go with the standard one and click on next and simply upload. Now one of the important feature you need to remember of S3 is S3 supports multi-part upload. Multi-part upload means you can upload your files in multiple parts. So for example, today you are uploading a big file. So if a part of file is uploaded and due to some network connection it is disabled, so it will not discontinue uploading. It will keep on the pause state, and once the connection is unable, it will again upload the remaining part. So it supports multi-part upload. Okay, so our data is uploading.
The other thing you had, the maximum size of the image, object can be 5 GBs.
No.
Is that what we?
AWS S3 offers you unlimited storage with a single file size can be ranged from 0 KB to 5 TB, terabyte.
Terabyte. Okay. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Single file, in a sense, single object.
Yes. So this is my single object. So this is my single object, and the size is 6.2 MB. So this can be extended up to 5 TB, but not more than 5 TB.
Okay.
I can upload multiple TBs of file, multiple 5 TBs of file. That is unlimited storage we have. But a single file or single object cannot be extended more than 5 TB.
Okay.
So once the file is uploaded, in the action you can download that file if you want. You can get the total size. You can change the storage class. If you want to encrypt your data, then you can go with that. If you want to change the metadata is the data about the data. So about this AWS demo.ppts, if you want to provide any kind of data, it's called, let's say, ppt, or name, the name and tag that we do is the metadata, and you can here also tags. So one important thing you need to remember, in S3 tags are chargeable. In the existing in the S3 tags are chargeable, so whatever the tags you do here, that are going to charge you. Then we have make public. So if you want to make this object publicly available, you can simply click on make it public. Then we have options called rename, delete, cut, copy, etc. Now this is the property of a single object. This is how the properties of an entire bucket. Okay, so we have options of called versioning. So if you want to enable versioning, you can do it from here, enable multiple versions. So what happens in the versioning, if you just enable, click on save, okay, version is enabled. Now we have this file called AWS demo.ppts. If you can see here, it's just shows only one version, that is the latest version. Okay, now let's go back and upload one more time the same file, AWS demo.pptx, and click on directly upload. Or what I can do, I can create two files, text edit.
So then now when you add another file of the same name,
Yes,
previous one will become old version.
there will be two options. Let's say this is version 1. So I'm creating a file which says this is version 1. Let's call it text.txt. Okay, so here I'll upload this file which says text.txt. Oh, okay, this is my first file, this is version 1, and I'm saved this file. Now I am uploading that file, text.txt, open and upload. Okay, our text.txt is ready. So what we will do, we'll just make it public. Access denied. What is happening? Everyone will be access. Okay, sorry, permission. So if you remember, in the public access setting, we have kept we have made this public access setting as a private one, right? So here in the permission,
Okay.
you need to disable
This is for the object level, right?
Yeah, this is for the object level. So
Or
here,
the bucket.
yeah,
Okay.
at the bucket level to all the objects.
Okay.
So here you need to uncheck this. So block new public ACL and uploading of public objects. You need to remove this and click on save. Type confirm. And again, let's go back to overview and make this file public. Now I will just open this file. So this says this is version 1, right? Can you see this?
Yes, yeah, I can
So
see
this
that.
file has a single version, that is latest version, which says this is version 1. Okay, now let's go and make this file as a this is version 2 and upload it again. So here you can see now there are two versions. This is the older version and this is the latest version. So it maintained two copies of it. So now if I make it again public, and let's call it, it says this is version 2. Again, if I want to access to my first version, then just simply click on here and you will be able to access the first version again.
Okay.
So in this way you can
But you have to go to that path.
Yeah.
You clicked on the object and
Yeah. So if you can delete also, but that delete will also create a delete marker. So you can again restore that object.
okay. So if I delete the latest version, then it will anyway show me version 1.
Yeah, it will show you the version 1, but also it will make a, so for example, if I just delete this, okay, it says that there is only version 1, but now if I just upload it again, so okay,
Now when you try to access it, it will be version 1, right? That will show.
yeah. So if I I have deleted this one. Again, I have re-uploaded. So by default, I will be accessible to older version, that is version 1. Now again, added this the latest version. So what will happen now? You have a still option of delete markers. So this is a new what do you say, new version of S3. Discover the console. So in there was a previous version of this S3 console where you can see the delete markers also. So whatever the objects you are deleting, you have a list of all these options. So let me just check. So this is versioning. So did you get it? So if you want to maintain different versions of a same file, then you can do in such a way, but you have to enable the versioning option. Then the second one is login. So whatever the logs that I've created, so if I just enable this login, you need to choose two bucket now. The bucket is like a target bucket where you want to dump all these logs. So it's always a best practice to always choose a different bucket to dump all your buckets, or sorry, all your logs. But as of now, we can go with the same one. And here you can provide a prefix. So for example, if any on a particular file you want to provide an object, then you can go with it. So type of prefix that Amazon S3 can assign to all the object keys. So for example, you have a whenever you upload a n number of resume, you can add a key to that, that is name resume. So whenever the resume is uploaded, a file with the tag resume is uploaded, it will process logs on that particular file only. And when you don't provide anything here, it is applicable to all the objects in that particular bucket. So click on save.
Sorry, can you say that again?
Yeah. So login means it maintains all the logs, all the requests that you have made to this bucket, all the people that have made requests to this bucket, where you will find all the details of that particular person or the IP address. As yesterday we have seen in the cloud logs.
Yeah.
The flow logs.
log we saw.
Yeah. Okay. In much similar way, these logs are done. So this is at the S3 level.
This is at the bucket level.
Yeah, S3
this is at the bucket level for every.
Yeah. So here you need to select target bucket. So where you want to dump all these logs. So it's always a best practice to dump all these logs to a different separate S3 bucket. So there will be a two different bucket, one for the logs and second for the data. So for the log bucket, you must always dump all these logs there. Then there is the option of target prefix, so which means like if you want to have a specifically object, if you want to apply this on a specific object, let's say there are n number of different types of data available in your bucket, but you need to applicable only on txt file, or you need to applicable on only on pdf files, then you can provide the prefix here. So, and when you don't provide any prefix, it is applicable to all the objects inside that bucket. Now it is clear.
Can you like enter target prefix? So what is it like? Some
for example, if I have a folder, if I have a folder called let's say temp folder, if I have any temp folder inside my sc bucket, okay, then it will be applicable on that temporary folder only.
Okay, all right, okay. Yeah.
Okay, now to show you an example, so basically it will take certain time to get the logs of that particular tmp file. We don't have actually tmp folder inside that bucket, but if you have any temp folder, and inside that if you provide any kind of data, then it will create a logs after certain time. So to show you demo,
your voice breaking now, I can't hear you.
Hello, can you hear me now clearly?
Hello. Now it's fine, otherwise it was breaking.
Okay. So
to show you something about the temp folder.
Yeah, I was saying that inside your bucket, if you have any temp folder or any folder that you have specified inside that, if you have object, so whenever you access the object, at that time you will get a logs of that particular actions taken on that particular bucket. Now as we don't have any such folders and object inside that folder, to show you demo, I have this existing bucket. Okay, and here there is a log folder that I have created. So whatever the uploads, whatever the files, video files that I upload about this recorded session, I maintain a logs of that. So whenever you access those logs, whenever you access those videos, it sends me the logs of that. So how this log works? So these are logs, make it public, and let's just open these logs. Access is denied, again permission. Just a minute. So can you see this? So this is a log.
Yes, I can.
So this is my bucket name, and this is the IP address from where I got the request. The request was put to upload any file, and yeah.
Okay.
So this kind of information you get. The IP address of the of the target. Now if we go and check the other logs, so from this IP address on 2019 to 25, I got a put request. I made a put request here. So in this way it shows you the log. It creates the logs and it dumps all these logs here. So you can find there's n number of logs available.
It's how is this? It's just one object in the logs. There are many entries, right? Is that an entry per file or?
No, it's basically the amount of transaction made per request. So if multiple requests are made, like get and put both, or kind of, so it maintains different kind of features on it.
So
I
it's
can,
not even like it's not one log file per day, not like that.
no. So if you can see here, one, so it gives you different time zone also. So on February 2019 by 11:12:44 the request was made. Again at 11:48:28.
Oh, okay, okay.
So if it at each
Per
second
request.
28, 29, so within a second there are two requests made. So it will log all the requests.
Oh, okay, okay.
So there are 299
Okay,
requests made till date.
okay.
So I have
Okay.
logs of all this.
And these logs, you can then do the life cycle management and.
Yes, I can create a life cycle on these logs also. And so let's say there are
Okay.
two kinds of
But how?
life cycle
Yeah.
I can make. First life cycle, like
Okay.
delete this all these logs after 30 days. I don't need it. Or I can also use
Okay.
these logs to process into CloudWatch. I can use these logs
Okay.
to send it to CloudWatch and then use it for further use cases, like whenever something is happening, whenever someone is downloading my data, it should trigger me a notification, kind of.
Okay. So when nothing has been done, when you don't set lifecycle management, these logs will remain
Yeah, here only.
forever.
Forever.
Okay.
So we have seen versioning, server access logging. Then static web hosting. So just simply click on use this bucket to host your website and just copy this link and put in your browser. So it will not work currently. Okay, now here you need to write the index.html file, that is your welcome file. Okay, so we will create one index.html file, but let's configure this and click on save. Okay, now let's go to our overview and create a index.html file. So let's say, can you see my screen, this editor, is it visible?
Yes, it is visible. Thank you.
So I have created one file, HTML file. This is static web hosting. Now I will upload that file. Click on add file and click on index.html. Next, now here you need to grant this object to have public read access. If you don't provide this public read access, then the user will not be able to view the content. So if you don't provide this granting permission, let's see what happens exactly. So I'm not granting this public read access and upload. Now if you just refresh this, it says the access is forbidden. There are two reasons behind it. First reason was, as you remember, if you remember that whenever you host your public website, your bucket needs to be publicly available. Your entire bucket needs to be publicly available, right?
Okay, yes.
So in the permission setting, create a bucket policy or access control list and click on public access to everyone, and you can access give to read bucket permission, no, list object, write object, you don't require write, list and read object. Now if you just refresh this, it will show you again message that access is denied. So what you have to do here, that index.html page, you need to click on action and make that file public. Click on public. Now okay,
So you're now doing it bucket level as well as the object you need to grant permission.
Yes. So here you need to maintain, or you need to make public to both the things. You need to make public bucket
Okay,
also
okay.
public and object also public.
Okay. So is there any option like all the buckets, all the objects in this bucket is public?
Yes.
Nothing. You have to give.
Yes. So basically, what you have to do while creating the bucket, if you want to do such things, for example, click on next. You can enable the versioning server access login directly from here, and then click on next.
Okay.
And you can remove this part. So if you remove this, the permission will be disabled.
Okay, okay.
And then you can create a bucket lifecycle policy that is here, and make this access control list to everyone.
Okay.
So you can do this
Permission.
by creating the bucket also, and once you have created the bucket, then also you can do. So when I just click on this DNS, so this is my DNS. So whenever you create a EC2 public IP, right, we check with the public IP and public DNS in the EC2 section, right?
Yeah.
At that time we also have a DNS. So this DNS is now hosting our website. That this is a static web hosting.
Mm-hmm.
In this way you can create a bucket public
So
web
that in the URL that demo Lalit is the bucket name. Demo Lalit.
Yeah, demo Lalit temp.
Temp is the bucket name.
This is a bucket name. This is a ST static, and in which region that you have created, and then Amazon domain name.
S3, okay, it's saying that it's a static web. S3,
right. It defines what type of property you are using.
Okay, okay.
So then AP South 1, that is a region in which you are hosting your website, and then finally the domain of that Amazon. Okay.
Okay. Yep.
So here you can your task will be today to download any sample template, sample ST static template you will find on the Google, like so yeah, there are free templates available.
Oh, this comes with HTML and everything.
Yeah. So basically you can just try downloading this. Get started. Okay.
Or should we register to do?
No, they're without registration, so you can download. So this is the site freecss.com. I guess here from here you can download this website. So let's say I want to download this.
Okay.
And just simply click on download. Okay, it has downloaded. So okay, so now what we will do, now here one more trick you need to remember, like it doesn't allow you to upload zip. No, it allows you to upload the zip, but you cannot unzip on S3. S3 still doesn't feature you to unzip any zip file. So in such case, whenever you want to upload multiple files and multiple folders, what you can do, you can simply open that folder, copy or select all the 4 files, and just drag to S3 console and drop it here. So it will always create a folder for you and it will copy. Otherwise, what you need to do, you need to create all the folders and then you need to upload that. But if you are doing just drag and drop, it will select all the files inside that folder and all the folders. Now,
okay. So now everything is copied. Folders, subfolders, files
folders.
inside
So if you can see here, the CSS folder, it has 4 objects inside it. Font has 5 objects inside it. Images has 6 objects.
Okay.
So this is the just trick So you don't need to zip and unzip or do upload a single
Okay.
object one by one.
Okay. So I create a bucket, and inside the bucket I drag and drop this.
Right. Click on next. And we will now grant this public access to these files. Then click on next, and upload. Now we had already one index.html file, and this will also create one more index.html file. So index.html file will have two versions, right?
Yes, yeah.
Now let it upload it in here. Okay, our website content is everything is uploaded. Now let's go to our again that DNS endpoint, this one, and see.
Oh, wow. That easy to host a website.
Yeah. So without any, you don't need to worry about the Apache server or any other server. You don't need to maintain any EC2 machine for this. If you want to have host any static content or static website, then you can do it with S3 with free of cost. It doesn't charge you any single hosting thing, and you will still find the all the the what you say, the interaction. Like when I go up, it it gives me some kind of interaction, like the image is uploaded, then one by one all these panels are when I click on here, it will just pinging up and down, right? They are dancing.
Correct, yeah.
So all the features, all the interaction that is done on that the JavaScript level, it is supporting all these options.
Correct. Okay, wow. Okay.
Now you can, what you can do, you can copy this DNS endpoint, or you can create a domain on your AWS site, or you can migrate to an existing domain to AWS, and then you can simply map that domain name to this DNS. So what will happen, for example, you have a domain called xyz.com. Now you can map this xyz.com to this DNS. So whenever you go to xyz.com, you will find this site.
Okay.
So that feature we have in Amazon S3, Amazon.53. Okay. So this is how you do static web hosting. Then we have object level login. Object level login means if you want to enable login on a particular object.
Sorry.
Yeah.
This one, the domain name, when it is an object, what would be the URL, like the domain name? Like now we had that S3 website, right? So we were trying to access just one object.
No. Okay. Basically, let me explain you. So we have now index.html, only one index.html page. So if you have multiple pages, then for example, let's see, click on pricing, then pricing will open a new web page. So if all the HTML files is already in your S3 bucket, then it will serve as a complete website. You don't need to maintain different versions of it.
Okay. So the URL will not change. The static website URL always remains.
It always remains the same. It always remains the same. Until and unless you are on the same page, on the same website, this static DNS endpoint will never change.
Okay.
That's why the uniqueness here is the demo lolly temp. That is the unique bucket. So we know that ST bucket names are globally unique. So there is no way that this DNS will change. Okay. Then we have another property called object level login. So if you want to enable logging at a particular object, let's say index.html or anything, then this is that option that you can log on a particular objects. You can encrypt your data with AES 256-bit encryption or with your own KMS. So use server-side encryption with Amazon Managed S3 or KMS, that is Key Management Service. So you have both the option. You can go with for the encryption. Object log.
Do we have to know any further about this encryption?
You don't need to remember. You just need to remember that what kind of encryption option do you have. That is AES 256 and AWS KMS. That's it.
Okay. And then like server side, and both are server side.
Yeah, basically every time the encryption is done at the server side level only for whenever you perform Amazon managed encryption. If you want to encrypt your data on your own, let's say for EC2 you have to encrypt your data inside your data, then you need to do it manually. That is your customer manage. But whenever you are using AWS KMS or AWS AES encryption, AWS manages key for you, or you still have an option to manage keys for you.
Okay. So these are the two types of encryption AWS provides at server side, AES 256 and KMS.
Yeah.
And do we have to know the difference between those two and what it does? And
basically, there is no much difference. Like AES encryption is the default encryption, and the key management is like you create a key, you create all the configuration like paraphrase and cryptographic keys. So basically, you provide a key. Let's say encrypt my data with a keyword. It's like a password. So you provide a password, and then Amazon encrypts the data with your password. That's it.
Okay.
We'll see a demo on KMS.
Okay.
Then we have object lock. So object lock is like accidental deletion of an object. So basically you can if you are many juniors in your organization who is accessing your AWS account, and for such things you can have object lock. So object locks cannot be performed now. Whenever you create a new bucket, at that time only you can enable this object lock. So for example, when I create a bucket, click on next, and for object lock you always enable this versioning option. So once you enable this versioning option, click on advanced setting, and there will be option on permanently allow objects in this bucket to be locked. So whenever the objects are locked, you won't be able to directly delete them. You need to have a permission. You need to confirm that yes, I want to delete this particular file, and then only it will let you to delete. As if you remember, in our EC2 section we have a termination policy, right? Hello. Hello.
Yes. Sorry, I got a call and then it disconnected. Okay.
So I was saying, object lock. In the EC2 also we have a termination policy, right? Accidental termination.
Yes.
In a similar way, we have object lock. Then we have tags. Use tags to track your cost against project on other criteria. So if you want to provide any tags to your SC bucket, then you can add it here. But SC tags are chargeable.
Okay.
Then we have transfer acceleration. So let's see. You want to compare your data transfer speed by origin. Let's click on here, and it will run a test case. So currently you are in Mumbai, and it will take few seconds. Yeah. So now it's checking the upload and download speed.
Okay, that's why it's printing, like, because it's checking for us.
Yeah. So it will take few seconds. It will check all the regions, and then you can decide.
Okay.
So meanwhile, it will take few seconds. It will take few minutes. So meanwhile, while it is getting ready, what we will do, we'll see other options. Then we have events. So events is like whenever you want to trigger anything happen on your S3 bucket. So what you can do, events you can put on post copy if you want to, if there is any copy, multi-part upload complete, all object create events, object in RSS lost, permanent delete marker created, all object delete event. So these are the option on which you can create a EC2 S3 events. Or if you want to specify into a specific bucket, like in my image folder, if something is happen like put post copy anything, then I can do suffix like jpg. If all the files, all the images file dot jpg file, if anything happened to those particular files, then I can send a notification, send it to SNS topic, SQS queue, and Lambda function to where you want to deliver this event. You want to deliver it to simple notification service, SQS for further processing, or to trigger a Lambda function. So this is S3 event. Then there is the option of requester pay. Requester will pay for the request and data transfer, while requester pay is enabled. Anonymous access to the bucket is disabled. So here, whenever you create a S3 bucket, at that time you allow anonymous people to interact with your bucket, right? Like we just did, we make the bucket public so that anyone on the internet can be accessible to this bucket, to can read the data. But when you do this request to pay, at that time you need to remove that. So how will you maintain the credentiality? So here you need to create
Yeah,
a,
how do you know, does the requester gets the bill?
yes,
Or because they would have subscribed or something, like if it is Netflix, so you pay monthly or
exactly.
and
So
then
what will happen?
you create an account and
Yeah, so you create an account. There is an Amazon service called Cognito, or you can create a Amazon temporary credential like temporary IAM user. So for example, let's take a example of Netflix. So what Netflix will do, Netflix will create a temporary IAM user for that particular user, and that particular user will now be able to access this particular S3 private bucket. They will give that user to have a temporary access to the S3 bucket so that person can download the videos, but the downloading charges still they have to pay, right?
no, okay.
So the condition is only the anonymous user shall not be able to access this bucket.
Oh, okay.
So if you see that our Mumbai region is 32% faster, then let's say census is 1% faster, 3% faster, doubling is 5% slower. So now here you can enable this in such a way. So for example, whenever you're uploading a file from the London, it will automatically choose the fastest region and upload the file. So
okay, so when you have enabled AWS automatically does this calculation and it will choose
yes,
from where to upload.
yes. So if you enable, click on enable.
So there's nothing else you have to.
Yes, you don't need to do anything.
Enable it and AWS will take care of it.
Yeah.
So
you have to just,
whichever zone it is faster.
Yeah, you have to just share this endpoint. So if you, for example, if you are my client, then I will share this endpoint with you, and you have to upload the files on this endpoint only.
Okay. So where do you put that endpoint? Where do you?
Sorry.
Oh no, you share this with the client. So
yeah,
client,
I share with this client. So no, basically I share this endpoint either with client, or I can directly add the client to my AWS account. So
okay. Now in the website, if you just create a button called upload and then.
Yeah, exactly. So for example, if we have such infrastructure where I want anonymous people to upload any kind of data, so at that time I can go with such option like to provide an endpoint. So with the AWS API, it will make a request to upload that data. Like we talk about the job portals, resume. Whenever the resume is uploaded, it will be downloaded. It will be uploaded directly to my S3 bucket.
Okay.
Okay, but if I know my client is already having an AWS account, then I can just click on add account and I can share this particular for bucket with that particular person.
Okay.
Right, then I think we have covered almost everything. Properties, permission. So public access setting we have already seen how to make the public to make this bucket public or private. Access control is if you want to deliver this, if you want to make this bucket public, or you want to share with somebody else AWS account, then you can do here. Then we have something called bucket policy. So bucket policy, just a minute. Yeah. So bucket policy is like when you say then anonymous user can upload any kind of data. So now here you can provide a restriction. These people can have only a read access. These people can have only a write access. Or let's say an IAM user will have only read access to a particular this bucket. So here you can provide a, you can create a policy. So in the same way that the way we create a IAM policy, it's in much similar way we have to do. So type of policies, let's say S3 bucket policy. What type of effect you want to allow, deny. So let's say I want anonymous people to have access to my S3 and actions. Let's say get bucket object, get object, yes, get object. Okay, so I have created a policy to on the get object permission. So I want only this particular person to have a get only object. So now I can provide the S3 ARN bucket name here, and it will automatically create the bucket policy. Or yeah. So if you want to, it's similar like to IAM policy. So if you want to restrict a particular person from accessing your service, if you want to restrict an anonymous user to write a data or to upload in to list down any kind of data, then you can write a policy here.
Okay. So you can use this here to you can write your own code and put it here.
Yes, exactly. So I'll show you just a demo. Samples, bucket policy samples. So for example, okay, so this is my SID. I want this action to allow, and AWS principal define who is the one who is going to access it. So I am allowing this particular account, a user, I am user of this particular account of root. So anyone on this account, root access of this account can have access to that particular bucket. Also, the root account of this account ID can access to my S3 bucket. Apart from that, if anyone is trying to access to my S3 bucket, will be denied. So what kind of action they can perform? They can perform put object and put object ACL. On which resource? On my bucket name. So here if I can provide the bucket name, it will be applicable on that. And string equals like you can provide a different kind of condition. So let's say here, now it allows all users, that is anonymous user, to have only get object permission on my bucket. So this is the something bucket policy.
Okay.
or do you have any doubts? Then I can repeat it. Okay. For example,
do that once.
okay. For example, now in your organization you have 50 users. So for 50 user, whenever you create a 50 IAM user, at that time you can provide the condition that what they can access and what they cannot, right? But when you don't know
Yes.
these people from the another AWS account or any anonymous user who is targeting to your bucket, how to control their actions. Like if you have created any static web hosting website, or if you made a bucket publicly available, and if I am trying to hit your site, that I become your anonymous user to your st bucket, now how you will control my actions? I can using the AWS CLI or API, I can fire a object on your bucket, I can create a folder on your bucket, I can do anything. Like, but when you create a bucket policy, you can restrict the access of the anonymous user.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Okay. Then we have management. In the management section, first we have